Today's guest is a coach who examines our emotional relationship with food and teaches that health is so much more than simply eating well.
Building spirituality, family, health, and business. This is The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.
Welcome, Giant Builders. I have Biljana Hutchinson here today, and we're going to talk about nutrition. So, hello, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, Lois.
Great. And you are a plant-based nutritional coach. Can you tell us what that means?
Okay, so plant-based is similar to vegan and very often is used interchangeably, but there are slight differences. So vegan is more of a whole philosophy of life and a movement which is based on very often ethical reasons. While people define themselves by what they don't eat for reasons that are obviously very valid. Now, plant-based is doesn't necessarily have to be 100% plant-based. So people can have occasionally fish or meat, but it is more based on the choices that we make in food and what we focus on eating more. And it's very often is there's a three spots, like personal health of the planet, and then obviously animal welfare as well.
What type of vegetables are best for us?
So if we're talking about plants, what we should focus our diet around are legumes. So plants like beans and peas and chickpeas, lentils, then grains and pseudo grains, fruits and vegetables, and nuts and seeds. So that's that should be the five groups that we should focus around, mainly our diet, what we eat.
Sometimes I get tired of vegetables. How can I just be honest with you? Sometimes it's like, vegetables. What I do to make them more interesting, more tasty?
So the thing to do, for example, to avoid that rut, because we do get stuck in a rut, because first of all, especially if we work, if we have family, or both, it happens very often that we get stuck in a rut. So that's not, you're not alone. I'm like that myself. It's just something that happens because we live busy lives and we want to make it easy for us. So then we have 5, 6, or 7 meals that we constantly circle around pretty much every week. So one of the ways to increase that variety is to try to eat seasonal, because every season will carry certain types of fruits and vegetables and plants by itself. So that could give us that variety. The other thing is to obviously increase some seasoning, add plenty of spices and herbs, not only because they give us flavor and they make our food delicious, but also because they are very powerful antioxidants. So they will help that detox of our body and help us, get rid of that oxidative stress. And it's just apart from making it delicious, it's very practical and very good for us. So that's a second thing. And the overall thing that we could try to do is maybe focus rather on counting calories, for example, which very often people do, especially if they are on a weight loss journey or weight maintenance. Another thing could be to maybe, instead of counting calories, count number of plants. So interesting thing would be to have, for example, around 30 different plants that we should add or have within a week. So that will ensure that variety. It will also help build up our microbiome, which are good bacteria in our gut, and to help maintain our health. build our immune system, just overall help our general health. So that could be another way to look at it, and that will ensure that variety.
Yeah, I think I sometimes even get stuck on spices, so it's like right now I'm kind of in a cinnamon mood. So everything's got cinnamon in it. My chili has cinnamon, my spaghetti has cinnamon, my tea has cinnamon.
So that is true. Another also thing would be as well for those who like to experiment, maybe. I, for example, like to try new dishes and from different cuisines. So, and because I like cooking, I don't mind that. And, because this is what I do. So cooking is part of my job. And I combine their, pleasure and business. So I like to explore and then try new meals and dishes from different cuisines, which also allows exploring different spices. But I do understand that not everyone has time or affinity to do that. Just doesn't enjoy really spending time in the kitchen, which is fair enough.
All right. So how much nutritional value is decreased when we buy frozen vegetables? Is that it? Is that like, oh, that's the worst thing we could do, or are we okay?
Actually, we are okay, because what happens is very often, or the idea of frozen fruits and vegetables is that they are picked at the peak of their season. So they're very ripe and they have that maximum nutritional value, and they are blast frozen. So that all that is preserved. So actually, when we do buy frozen, that helps us on more than one level. First of all, sometimes it can be better actually than, you go to the supermarket, for example, and go to that green part where fruits and vegetables are, and sometimes they will be withered and not necessarily that fresh because they were sitting there for a couple of days or more. So frozen in that case would be better. The second thing is it also helps us save time. So we don't have to peel them, we don't have to wash them. Save us sometimes money as well, which is one of the, for example, things that people are concerned at in this particular moment in time. And because we don't spend as much, right? We just take from the bag what we need and leave the rest for some other time. So, it reduces waste as well. So it's actually, in addition to nutritional value, it helps other aspects of our everyday life. But no, it doesn't decrease actually nutritional value, and sometimes it can be better than the fresh ones.
That's good, because that's one of my favorite things. And my husband goes a little crazy because like I'll get the Costco size, mixed vegetable thing, and then that's what we eat until it's gone, and there's only two of us, so that lasts me like a whole month.
Yeah, but that's good. That's good because, first of all, it saves you time. You don't necessarily have to go to the supermarket again, or sit online and order it. Obviously, because it's only two of you, so you don't spend as much. You don't use as much. So that, that would definitely help you reduce waste. And maybe sometimes you buy more and it looks fresh and pretty and beautiful, but then you don't need it. And then you end up throwing it away. So, it's definitely helping buying frozen.
Okay, so what are some of the top nutritional vegetables? Is it Popeye spinach or?
Yeah. One of the, I don't, very often you will hear superfoods, right? People talk about superfoods. I don't necessarily believe in superfoods because every food has its own plethora of qualities and, values that help us. However, there is a group of plants that if I would follow that superfoods characteristics, they would be right there on top, and that's legumes, because they're absolutely amazing. They're powerhouses and they're rich with protein, fiber, which is very important for our gut health, calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphorus. So these are absolutely crucial things for our vitamin B as well. So crucial for our overall health. And if there is something that we need to eat every day and would absolutely do us good, that's legumes. in any shape and form. So that could be, it could be dips, for example, like hummus, for example, or a chili, like bean chili, or soya milk or tofu. So in any shape and form, if we could include serving or two a day, that it would be absolutely brilliant.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about emotional eating. All right. So if I get really stressed, I would like to say it's easy for me to grab an avocado and put a little chocolate chip on it. But honestly, if I get a little stressed, it's like grab that ice cream bar. So how can we, what's your suggestion for us is like if we're emotionally stressed and like we really need something sweet, what would you suggest that we grab?
Okay, so I've been there myself. And it's one of the reasons how I discovered actually this lifestyle and how I managed to get on it. But emotional eating was one of the things that bothered me before. What would definitely help, for example, is either, and that is also one of the questions that I get asked the most. So what are healthy snacks? So healthy snacks would, for example, be avocado with some chocolate chip, or say dates with some peanut butter, and why not dark chocolate, or some, flapjack bars, things like that. But there is also another thing that we could pay attention, and that is, what is it that got us into that state, right? Is there anything else apart from food that would help us get rid of that emotion? I don't necessarily recommend, for example, if we're talking about eating, very often you will hear routine, which is very important, and maybe eating meals at the same time every day, which does help. However, it's also important that we follow our body and our mind. So if we feel that we're hungry, we should definitely eat that. So one of the things to do when we go for say something sweet, say chocolate bar, is ask ourselves, do we really need that chocolate bar? Is there anything else that we can do? Because not only will that help our nutrition, and I know this is very easy to say, and it's much easier to say than do, but I also know that it's possible because I've been there myself. So it's really being mindful and snapping out of that, going for chocolate. I'm going for that chocolate, but do I really need that chocolate bar? Is there, maybe it would help if you go for a walk, if you go and punch a boxing bag, if you have it, just go for it. If you go and scream in your pillow, yep, that also counts. That's also fine. But the point is that we get rid of that emotion, right? And I'm sure there is another way of getting rid of it that will not be as detrimental to our health long term as that chocolate bar may be. So it's really just getting in touch with ourselves at that moment. Yeah, of course it's okay to eat sometimes chocolate bar. I go and eat chocolate bar, occasionally. I go and I make that choice and I do it. But it's important to not do it every time, right? So if occasionally that happens, yes. Now I'm lucky enough, I have a punching bag in our shed at the end of the garden, so I do that as well sometimes. But it's really being in touch and just being in contact with our own thoughts and feelings, and just checking in. Do I really need that chocolate? Is there anything else that I could do? That also very often our brain confuses the hunger and thirst. So very often we would go for food when we actually need water. And one of the things that majority of people that come to me is that they don't drink enough water. We generally don't, because we replace it with coffee or tea or soda, and we think, yeah, I'm fine, I'll just have a glass of soda. but water is what we need. So that's another thing that we could do. If I'm, if you think of going for a chocolate, yeah, it could be that, you got upset and you really want chocolate, but maybe having a glass of water and going for a walk can also help with getting rid of that same emotion.
Yeah, that probably would be better.
Yeah.
Okay. What would a first meeting with you look like?
First meeting with me. Well, we would speak like this on Zoom. So we would connect face to face, closest face to face, if people are not local to me. I also have a couple of local clients, so that makes it really easy, and I enjoy that part because it brings us back to normal life and the life as it used to be about 3 years ago. But we would definitely meet for the first time, and then people would tell me about their health, whether they have any diagnosis, any intolerances, or anything about health that is important for me to know. So I don't recommend, any foods that would actually harm them or cause any discomfort at the beginning, because often I work with people who have digestive issues for different reasons. So obviously we have to be careful at the beginning. I would also talk very extensively and ask a lot of questions about their lifestyle. So how much time they have, do they have family? Is anybody in the family facing any health issues? Are they supportive of the choices that my client is making? Because that is also important. Because my job is to make life easier for my clients. So these are all things that need to be included. What are their kitchen skills? Do they or either do they know how to cook, or do they enjoy spending time in the kitchen? Sometimes people know how to cook, but they don't necessarily like to. Or if they can, for example, I'm sure in the US is the same. You have all these services who deliver meals where you can order catering and they actually deliver. And they can be accommodating to health needs and requirements of their clients as well. So it would be very extensive, about an hour meeting where they tell me all about their health and all about their lifestyle. So also that includes routines such as sleep and stress management, working hours, type of job that they do, if they do, things like that. So I actually have a full picture and can offer them the best program that will work for them. So, accommodate, say if they have half an hour a day to prepare meals, then I don't come back with some recipe that asks, calls for an hour and a half of cooking, because that wouldn't work. Things like that. Yeah.
So I see on your information that you have a membership program. What does that entail?
So I do have membership. It's a month to month on a monthly basis membership. And what we do there in the community, I have like a month cycle, 4-week cycle. So 1 week we talk about nutrition, healthy aspects of the food we eat, all sorts of different questions that I get asked pretty much every day. And then we work on that and answer that. And then second week is talking about self-care, because health is not just what we eat. It's also how we sleep and the quality of our sleep and stress management and creativity, whether we use that creativity of ours or not, whether we are aware of it or not, changing habits, language that we use, self-talk, boundaries, things like that, because these are all important for our overall health and self-care aspect of our life. The third week is usually cook along or cooking workshop. And these are my favorite, because either people will spend the time with me while I cook in my kitchen and that will go live, or I will put my ingredients up front and then they get find ingredients and then we can cook together. And then the fourth week very often is different experts or coaches like myself, but dealing with some other parts and aspects of our everyday life, and I would bring them along, and they would either give their own workshop and answer questions. And it's really interesting because we will share articles and questions, and all my clients, whether they sign up for the group program or for membership itself, have access to membership. And then if when they finish the program, they can carry on in the membership or leave altogether if they're happy with where they are in their lifestyle after we finish the program. So yes, membership is really something that I enjoy. I always wanted that. Maybe I don't know, 2 or 3 when I started my business. I always thought, oh, wow, it would be amazing if I could have a membership. And I always thought about memberships as all these hundreds and thousands of people, but it's actually really a group of people, and it can be started very simply on any of the platforms, just a small community where it can get quite intimate and quite open. It's like a safe space for people to bring out their questions and issues and challenges and wins, if they lose certain number of pounds or, get a new, whatever it is, it's a really good space. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A great place for support, it sounds like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great to have people to
Especially
share.
for those who don't have support. Yes, exactly. Especially for those who don't necessarily have support at home, for example, sometimes that it's a good place to be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, how do people contact you?
Where they can find me on Facebook. I spend most of my time on Facebook and LinkedIn. Because I work with entrepreneurs, professional women or professionals, but mainly women are my clients, and expat women as well. So these 2 platforms, or just my email, and I'm always happy to respond and carry on conversation about whatever problem they might have.
We'll put those links below.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. Don't overthink it. If you're trying to change your lifestyle and trying to be healthy, don't overthink it. Don't go 100% in overnight. Very rarely it works. Just take your time, take one day at a time, and you'll get there.
Yeah, so you kind of remind me, listeners, if you haven't seen Shiraj Babo's interview, he talks a lot about mindset, so that would be something good to go back and review too. So, well, I appreciate your time and information. It was great to talk to you.
Thank you very much, Lois. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you, Giant Builders. I appreciate you so much, and just really thank you very much for being listeners. If you have any questions or any speakers you'd like to see, let me know. Bye.
Thank you for listening. This has been The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.